The Middle East is a much better place for us. We're allies with generally everybody in it. We've wiped out our biggest threats in it. We both gained a bunch of land. I really didn't think I'd have so much fucking land over here, but I do, for whatever reason now. I have an ass load of land now, just in the Middle East, which at least means I can support your endeavors.
True.
And it means if NATO wants to come for you, they'll have to come through me first.
And everybody else.
Yeah, and everybody else. Speaking of which, I'm still technically working on Oman. I never stopped working on them through that entire war. I just left it on support government rather than taking a active approach.
Yeah, kind of hard to do that when you're fighting.
The nicest part of this, though, is I got about half, maybe not half, maybe 33% of their uranium. My uranium is being taxed.
Like, you don't need Madagascar anymore.
No, I still need it because even, like, my uranium that I've been producing is at its limit. Like, I need more uranium already. And even if I fill all of this up, I'm still going to end up needing more. Had I gotten, like, all the good uranium spots, it wouldn't be as bad, but I'm going to need more eventually, so Madagascar is still going to be an important target for me. God, all of this, and you still haven't really gotten a chance to take Sri Lanka. It's insane. You were about to do it, too. It was about to happen.
Well, like they say, shit happens.
Yeah. Two major wars starting. One of them involved our allies, and had we not gotten involved, our allies would not have won. The second was directly on you. Although, I think that was kind of your fault for antagonizing them by trying to lower your relations with them.
Yes, all went according to plan. No, not really, I didn't plan that at all.
That slowed you down from taking Sri Lanka, so...
Like, I just wanted to lower it a little bit. I didn't want it to the point where...
Yeah, you probably gave them a lot of justification against you, and they were just like, fuck it. Worth it. 11.4% inflation. I do need to get rid of more stuff. I still have 23 build capacity. This is still excessive for land. I don't need this much. This is like the amount the fucking superpowers are at right now. I'm gonna tear down this whole fucking facility. I have a place that's like a barracks, an airbase, a land, a missile production, and a complex. I'm just gonna scrap the whole fucking hex. Everything on it. The road I built here earlier included, because I need to keep lowering my production to save money and save my fucking economy, which is barely lowering. Like, the fucking inflation is so high up there. And I have my maintenance and training on minimum.
You're 120 million away from the population of the U.S.
The U.S., though, is growing much faster. I have more pop than the U.S. started with, remember that. US started at like a little under 300. I'm at 365 now. But the US is growing just so quickly. Like, just a net 10 million from immigration alone. Another 12 million births every year. They're growing by 22 million a year right now. Nobody else is growing anywhere near as fast naturally. South Korea comes closest, but they're only growing about 11 million a year. And the bigger the US gets, the faster they grow. The only reason I've been growing so much is by taking shit over. I'm gonna get some air bases in the eastern desert just to help generate supply that can be moved around. Oman government is starting to like me a lot, but their civilians think I'm the plague.
Alright, about to get a formal alliance with Libya.
Hey, got a lot of catch up to do, man. I'm at 20. You're about to be at 12.
I've been a little busy.
Yeah, I know. Not to mention, you still have to go after Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I'll let my forces build back up before I do that.
I don't think you lost that much compared to me, though. Look at the overall scores so far in the world. So I've gotten like a 2-to-1 ratio myself. You've gone into a negative ratio, actually. In terms of actual casualties, though, I've lost like over twice as much as you. I have the second highest military casualties of every living nation in the world. You have the second highest unit losses, I have the second highest unit kills, and you have the third highest unit kills. I have the third highest unit losses.
Well, I think we've pretty much, aside from Israel and South Korea, China and Russia.
Place down another little road in Israel. Oh, dude, you got Iran's oil derricks. You got literally all of their oil derricks.
All that I can produce?
No. Like, they have locations in international water where they have oil derricks, and you got all of them. So you just got a bunch of free oil derricks. I'm gonna start scrapping my southern sea pier in Iran. I wonder if I should make another seaport down there. Like, I think about it, and I go, maybe, but then again, you have one that is really close by. So it's like, maybe not.
Oh, you mean at, Donovan?
I was thinking of making one there, yeah. But you have one right next to that, so it's like I don't really have to make another one myself.
Hey, it never hurts. I mean, shoot, if it wasn't for the port that I made at Bandar in Pakistan, my units would have never made it to the front in time.
So by the way, you should upgrade that to a seaport. That sea pier in Gwandar. When it's a seaport, you undock and dock so much faster. Really good for troop mobilization. But I see another location that would be really, really good for you to place a seaport. It's to the west of Gwandar. It's Bandar-e-Abbas. That's a very good location for a seaport. I would suggest placing one there. Or a pier. Whatever tickles your fancy.
I see it right there.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. But that would be a very good location for one. I have 10 research slots. 1 natural, 9 from research centers. And I still feel like it's a little too much. I think I only kept 1 from both Israel and Syria combined. I think I'll end up only keeping 1 from Iran as well. Also gonna build another railroad. Okay, here's another complex. And then, wait, another research center? Jesus fucking Christ, I've been literally missing these while looking for them. Iran had so many research centers that I could not keep up with the amount that I found. I thought I had 2 that I was not deconstructing in Iran, and I just found another one. And Bulgaria and Armenia made an alliance, okay? Bulgaria is in NATO. That seems like a conflict of interest, but alright. So, first things first. India. India has some techs ahead of us, too. Huh. Interesting. Well, they have a tank. If you go to their unit designs, they have the T-94. Now, how much does India like you?
Not very much, but I'll see if I can get it for them.
Because they hate my fucking guts. So I wonder if you might be able to get a better deal for this tank than me. T-94. Now, let me do a full in-depth comparison of what we just acquired. So it's from 2005, which means I believe it's like the newest of all of our tanks.
Oh, what is that? Tank Tech 2005, you mean?
No. This design is from 2005. So the year is at the bottom of the manufacturing details of the design. It'll say year. 105 means 2005.
Oh, okay. So this one, the T90 is from 93.
The T90 is the main thing we've been using. I've been making T80 UM1s for a long time as well. The new T94... it has the same range as the T80 UM1s. It has way better hard attack, so fighting tanks and APCs slightly better than the T90A. It has better close combat value than both of these tanks. In terms of defense, it has much better indirect defense, so it's going to be better against artillery. It has much better air defense, so better against bombing. It has better defense in ground combat than the T90A, but about the same as the T80 UM1. The close defense, so when it's in a city or a jungle, is better than both of them as well. The soft attack is better than both tanks. Looks like a real fucking winner here. One downside is it just doesn't go as far before it needs supply, so it's less mobile, but it's overall stronger in pretty much every way.
It's a really good frontline tank, basically.
Yeah, there's no way that I can find where this is worse, except that it has slightly less structure, like fortification attack, than the T80 UM1, which is not really necessary. And it has, compared to the T90A, 1 km less range, but same range as the T80 UM1, which has pretty damn nice range already. It is more expensive than both of them, but it is definitely just a step up. So I'm going to exclude every design that is not the T94 for tanks, so that I can just get this new standardized tank to get my army up to snuff until I unlock whatever I need to unlock to get Russia's tank their T12 whatever. My inflation's down to 9.3. We started today with it being at 9.8, so it's already going down pretty well. Thank God.
Mine's actually going up a little bit. I started at 8, and now it's up to 8.2.
There go the Russians. Riding your rails. They're just fucking... What are they doing? They're just garrisoning some of your cities. Like, hello? And now they're leaving. Oh, you can actually see one of their best tanks right now in your territory. If you go to the south part of, I believe, Afghanistan, or just south of Afghanistan, there is a tank, a lone tank, sitting on the town of Iran Shahir. The T12 UM2 Black Eagle 2. This is their best tank right now. We need something called military weapons advances in order to get this. And this is a definite upgrade from the T94 we just got. 7 years newer, a little pricier, but the stats on it are way better. That's the fucking goal right there, is that tank. And it's leaving.
There he goes.
They heard us talking about it.
Where are you going? It's like, shit, they found me. Hey, Putin, they found me. What do I do? Come back.
This is like one of the first playthroughs, if not the first playthrough, where I have relied on designs from other countries rather than just making my own.
That must be a non-tradable tech that we need then, because I don't see it on the list.
I found it. So it is indeed a non-tradable, but we are missing a couple things leading up to, a lot of things leading up to it. Some of which are untradeable, some of which are tradable. I'm queuing up the non-tradable things in advance. But there's some other things we're going to end up needing to buy. I don't know if there's any of these. Some of these we can buy already, but I'm sure we'll get them by that point. There's a good bit of things that we are behind on for this, that's for sure.
I'm guessing what one of them is active armor protection.
No, it's not. Like, we need real-time communications, for example, which I am not currently researching, so I'm going to pause something else to make room for it. We need real-time communications, and then we need fire control upgrades. Those are 2 non-tradables, and another non-tradable after that we need is weapon industry advances 3. That is 3 non-tradables in a row that we need in order to get that tech. Everything else that's in our way is tradable, by the looks of it. Assuming we have, you know, similar tech. Aside from that. Alright, I got real-time communications. It's gonna take me a fucking year to research, so we're not actually gonna get this tank for a while.
Yeah.
Basically, we're not gonna get this tank for a while. A few years in-game. But, you know, if we get it in 3 years, then we just went 7 years in tank tech in 3 years. I'd say that's pretty good advancement. Because we can buy the rest. We just need to research the non-tradables. If I had more of an economy opening, I would double my research efficiency. I do not have an opening in my economy for that. I could probably afford it budget-wise, but it's just the economy is the deal. Maybe if I stop making so much military, but I need this military, even if it's not necessarily entirely up to snuff. This is something I said a lot in my Cold War playthrough, is that a tank is still a tank. It could be an old-ass tank, but it's still a tank, and it's still going to do pretty well. I'm officially at the point where my population is more scared of Russia than Russia's population is of me.
Oh, that's right. I was working on getting an alliance with Kazakhstan. I remember now.
And I'm working on Oman. I wish that we could see our allies allying with each other. I want to see them start doing that.
Yeah, at least that way we could be one big-ass freaking coalition.
It sucks that this game doesn't have some sort of organization system, like an actual alliance organization like NATO. Like, why is NATO not an organization? That's the only way you could keep a string of alliances like that organized. God, I see your intricate fucking weave of like roads and railroads you're setting up throughout all the territory you've gained. Jesus Christ, this is like quadrupling down on the existing infrastructure in some places.
You want to see something really funny? Okay, look at Iraq, and then that little south western corner I have. Look at the train line there.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That is entirely graphical.
Yeah, I know it's connected.
Yeah, the rail line is fully connected. It's just the graphics are being dumb. That's it. That's literally it.
I know. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, kind of like how if you go somewhere that has a sea pier and then you get rid of it and you build a seaport, the seaport won't be facing out to the water. It'll be facing inland more than likely.
Oh, yeah. I noticed that. Like, are you supposed
because
to water?
They're not actually designed to face out that way. They are cosmetically placed there on any that exist when the map starts. But when you build something, it goes around the hex in like a circle, and it doesn't take into account anything around it. And it looks like I'm going to be getting my alliance with Oman.
So I think I'm about to get mine with Kazakhstan.
There's your alliance with Kazakhstan. And there's my alliance with Oman. So I'm going to point something out, by the way. Remember where that tank was? Oh, there's two there now. The Russian tanks. I noticed you built a military complex and a supply depot nearby. I am going to point something out that you are messing up here. You want to put these where you're placing those roads, not next to them. Because when a supply generation source, like a supply depot, for example, is on a hex, then it spreads its supply outwards, turn on the supply levels, and then you can actually see the circle around it. And it starts to fade outwards. As you get too far away, the supply doesn't reach there. Well, things like roads and rails spread the supply. So if it's on a road, that supply will go a lot further than if you don't put it on a road or rail.
Well, I will fix that problem right now. Thanks for pointing it out.
It's sometimes interesting to just turn on the supply level filter and look around the world just to see how everyone's countries do in terms of supply. I can tell you that the US has been making a lot of buildings because their supply is not that good at the start of the scenario. It's a lot sparser at the start. So I don't know what they've been doing, but they have definitely increased their amount of supply. Oh yeah, another thing that helps supply spread, and this is a little more niche, you may not have noticed this, is your infrastructure spending.
That I did not know at all.
Yes, that's another big one. That's actually the biggest one. You know how I said that supply can move across roads and rails? Well, your infrastructure spending determines how well they move. Not necessarily the spending itself, but that quality rating. That's why you want to have like 100%, for example. You can get it higher and get a bonus, but that's why getting it at 50% is not necessarily the best thing. Speaking of infrastructure, on my little island all the way to the east next to Papua New Guinea, I could actually do with improving my infrastructure there. I was gonna do this a long ass time ago. Instead, I made one rail line kind of leading through the entire fucking island. But there's this massive ass jungle in the middle of it that I wanted to add a second way to get through, so you didn't have to route all the traffic through one city. So I have to find a way to do that. I have a lake to worry about. I have some rivers I want to avoid. Looks like I can start it here. Send it around this way. By the way, rail lines and stuff like that are always better. And when I say better, I mean you can get a better shape, more convenient of a actual line if you build it in little parts instead of just going from point A to point B over a very long distance.
Okay.
Like if you look at where Papua New Guinea is, and you can see the new rail line I'm setting up going through the southern part of the jungle on my side, if I had just dragged and dropped that, it would have gone and created 3 bridges over 2 rivers and 1 lake. So I did it little bits of piecemeal, basically, so that I could make it avoid making bridges.
Okay, gotcha.
I didn't necessarily need that because not a lot of traffic passes through there, but I think it's a good thing to build to expand my overall infrastructure on this island. Keep the supply in the jungle a little bit better. You know, I just bought a tech to trade you for the one that I'm asking you for right now, but I feel like you must have just bought the same tech because I don't see it popping up for me to send to you.
Probably might have.
Because I literally just bought the biologically based textiles because I was going to send that over to you. One country I'm not sure about attacking or not is the Philippines. Like, I either want to ally with this country or I want to attack this country. because they're a very strategically important country. They're in the middle of this fucking ocean. Very important for naval control over the area. As a friend, they'd be pretty nice to have, because that's a friend that's not gonna fucking die anytime soon, is what that is. Because, you know, the AI is terrible at invading navally in this game, so they're pretty safe. But simultaneously, it's right next to me, and that could be so nice for me for extending my reach navally in this area. And they have over 100 million. I'd get almost 100 million pop from taking this over, which could be the buffer that my economy fucking needs to build a lot more shit.
That's a torn decision right there.
Yeah, it really is. Simultaneously, the reason why I'm not looking at Thailand or the Philippines or an invasion at the moment is because I don't want to invade anything near South Korea or Russia. The closer you invade to a country, the more provocation that country gets, the more war justification it gets. Like, if the USA declared war on, you know, this is a bad example because we have full justification towards them already. If Brazil declared war on India or Turkmenistan or Uzbekistan, you would gain a fuck ton of war justification. But if they declared war on Argentina, you would get almost none.
Right.
Simultaneously, if you declare war on fucking Morocco, then India would gain almost no war justification towards you. But if you declared war on Turkmenistan or Sri Lanka, they'd gain a lot more.
I guess it's a good thing that Iran happened because, yeah, Sri Lanka's right on their door, so...
Yeah, Iran happening did not make India like me anymore because I actually had to declare war to help you out. I was tempted at first to just let you deal with it yourself because I knew I wasn't in any shape to help, but I was, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go. Let's go wipe out our biggest fucking threat in the Middle East. And we did.
Yeah, that was a very strategically important war. I mean, yeah, I could have held the line and just, you know, turtled it out until they ran out.
Oh yeah, based on how little supply was in that area, you could have dealt with that war. You had more production than them. You could have won that over a period of time by yourself. That is 100%. Not to mention, a lot of our allies probably would have gone to help you as well. You know what I just fucking realized?
What's that?
2 of my main islands, Sumatra and Java, like my biggest, most important, no, maybe not my biggest, but my most important and most populated 2 islands are so close together, I could link these motherfuckers by rail or road, whatever I choose. And I haven't done it yet. They're only 1 ocean tile away. Why have I not done this yet? Let's fucking do it, bro.
Because you just barely realized it right now.
I'm gonna build a fucking road. There you go. A road leading across the island. That way, that could save on the amount of ships that I'm using like crazy. Because now you can just drive to Sumatra from Java. These are my 2 main islands. And then a bunch of smaller islands to the east of Java are already connected by rail. And I noticed the island where East Timor is, if I actually took over East Timor, I could connect that island by rail as well. If I utilize a lot of bridges. I even just found another place where I could build a similar railroad, probably. Okay, I'm building another stupid ass fucking rail line to connect islands. This is good. I think while I do that, I'll actually just revolutionize what's over here a little bit. I have 2 sea piers and an airfield. I think I'll make a fucking, like an airfield and a seaport. There's a good couple of aircraft designs that I think we just unlocked with Russia, like a multi-role fighter called the Su-37 Berkut from 2007. And when we get future stealth fighters, we can get a new tactical bomber, the MiG-34 Firebug, and I don't think we have any planes that come anywhere near that for tactical bombing. Oh, dude, no, not even. Russia has some fucking even fighters that would be better than mine. Like the MiG-23.
MiG-23 is old.
The MiG-23.
You're better off getting it.
It's the MiG-23 NIIR Flogger. It's from 2002.
2002. The Flogger's from like the 80s.
It's, well, the Flogger B is from the 75. The NIIR Flogger is from 2002.
Oh, so they upgraded it, huh?
Yes. My economic slowdown has slowed down around 8%. It's only down to 7.9 and decreasing slowly. Hey, I just researched nuclear weapons production. Insert world embargoes here.
You'll be fine. This ain't GPS.
I am building almost entirely right now, in all but 3 of my land production facilities, T-94s.
Nice.
Because basically, by excluding all the old designs, what I told my AI was, these are obsolete, we need to upgrade. So I'm standardizing my tank force with T-94s. It's going to take a moment to actually do that, but it's only a little bit of a delay. And the result is a far superior tank force than I had before. And I see we both just got some alliances. You with Jordan and me with Algeria. Nice. I'm also going to standardize my infantry force. I've been using BTR 94s from the 90s this whole time. But I'm going to upgrade to these WPB Anders, which are from 2019. Although they're using 2007 tank tech. Wow, that's kind of weird to say that an infantry is using tank tech, but it's an APC, so.
You know what? I will actually grab that from you.
The Anders?
Yep.
Yeah, I bought this a while ago. The thing is, it's just, I didn't upgrade to it before because it's more expensive than the BTR, and while the gains are definitely there, you need to have a certain level of budget and economy to make it worth. I feel like the BTR is getting a little outdated though. I'm standardizing some more of my military, because at first I just wanted to get my hand on literally anything that was any good at all, and I'm at a point in the game where I feel like I can be pickier about what I'm making. So I've narrowed down my artillery, my tanks, my infantry, trying to narrow everything down a little bit if there's something to narrow it down to. Like I've narrowed my air defense down to the Bavar, my infantry down to the Anders, recon down to the Uber Lux ARV, tanks down to the T-94. I'm not narrowing down my anti-tanks because I have a Chinese and Arabian anti-tank that are honestly pretty much just as good, so I'll take some variety there. Artillery, I don't fully know if I even want to narrow it down. I have a couple options. My minister's only really using one of them, and it's my most up-to-date one anyway. But I'll probably leave it at 3. Planes are a whole nother story. Oh boy. I know I can narrow down my fucking tactical bombers, I'll tell you that much. Oh fucking hell. This is such an insane upgrade over what we had for tactical bombers, at least what I had. Even in air-to-air combat.
How do you actually narrow it down? Like to tell what your minister, like what you want to determine is obsolete or whatnot? Is that just the
just
race, or?
Open up the design at the bottom right of the design where it says standard, click it and set it to excluded or otherwise favorite. I just exclude things that I don't want being built anymore. Most of that railroad I set up earlier is done. That's nice. Just the little bits in the middle that are lacking supply is what I'm waiting on to finish. Currently researching the nuclear weapons test, so pollution's going up. Healthcare is going to go up a little bit, but nukes, bro. I'm about to become a nuclear country.
Yay, join the party.
The world economy is getting back to this stagnant point that it hasn't really been at for a while. Even metal ore is starting to go static some days. Uranium, oil, and rubber. Those are the only goods of opportunity, really. The next thing I'm finishing up here in about a week is mobile internet infrastructure, which will increase my cultural rating, which will allow me to spend a little bit less on cultural spending. And then I'm going to start working on Naval Force Production 94, which is going to take me over 2 years. And when that's done, I can finally upgrade my Navy to a more respectable amount. And I'm probably going to wait till that at least being done, at the very least Naval Production 94, before I rapidly expand my naval production. Because right now I have like 4 production queued, but this is enough to get some respectable Cold War submarines and capital ships, sure, but I don't want to be spending any more than I already am on this stuff until I actually get ahead, because the stuff I'm making are from the mid-70s. 94 will probably unlock much better designs from probably decades in the future. And that is worth waiting a few years for before spending a whole bunch of money on making excessive amounts of Kirovs and Delta submarines. I'm about to get improved subcomponents, a sub-tech from 1977, which is going to lead me to another non-tradable sub-tech from 1985. Hopefully, all that should finish around the same time as Naval Production 94, so my Navy can start looking respectable here come 2030. At least I can start producing more respectable ships. Takes a long time to really catch up in this game, depending on how far behind you are.
Yeah, I'm beginning to understand that.
In the earlier scenarios, everyone's a bit closer together because the technology starts at 1900 anyway. But in modern day, it's just not balanced because it's realistic. Most countries in the world have pretty shitty technology compared to, you know, the West and Russia and now China. Well, there's that 1 week mobile internet infrastructure upgrade. Means I can lower my cultural subsidy a little bit. Looks like I can still lower environmental spending a little bit as well. I need to lower anything I fucking can because my economy's leveled out much higher than I want it to level out. Because my maintenance and training spending is still bottomed out. If I can't get that up without boosting up my fucking economy like nuts, well, when it's time to go to war, I'm gonna have a fucking on-fire economy again. I don't mind the GDP per capita increase, but I do mind when the unemployment gets down to 3, because that makes just all sorts of bad shit happen. And Japan and Bulgaria formed an alliance, okay. In a square, just raw landmass, by the way, you are the 12th largest country in the whole game.
Oh, nice. Almost in the top 10.
I am number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm number 9. I'm ahead of India. India's number 11. You're just like right behind them. Since you have like basically your entire military put away too, I can basically see what your entire military looks like. And I can definitely say that you need more.
You think?
Like your infantry. So much of it is outdated already. Like, you never even fully standardized it to BTRs. You have some fucking light infantry and, like, other World War II shit still. You only have 31 tanks. That's an incredibly low amount. You and me, by the way, we are the top importers of electricity in the entire world. By a long shot. I'm importing 6 or 7 times more than the next guy. You're importing more like 8 or 9 times more. It's because we've just expanded our country so much that our electrical grids haven't necessarily been able to keep up because of our inflation levels.